Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. I'm here with Willie Walls and the great Swami. We have so much to cover tonight and so little time. We got to do some AFC North. We'll try to fit in some NFC North. Let's just get right to it. All right, Swami, your favorite team is none other than the Baltimore Ravens. Todd Monken comes in. Greg Roman is out. Lamar Jackson, everybody's loving. Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr., Rashad Bateman, J.K. Dobbins, maybe plays, maybe he does not. What are we thinking of the Ravens' chances this year to make the playoffs?
Doc, you see me over here singing, and you see me over here bouncing. I'm moving and grooving. I can't lie, Doc. We are excited. We are excited because Lamar finally has some weapons. He finally has enough weapons where we think this offense could be dangerous. He's had a piece, he's had a part, but it seems like he's coming with a whole arsenal and a full clip this year. And I think he's got a lot to be excited about. Obviously, there's a little bit of disappointment surrounding the Dobbins situation, but guess what? We love you, Mr. Dobbins, especially me. But here's the truth, Doc. Lamar's rushed for more yards in a season than that Joker's probably rushed his whole career. So guess what, Mr. Dobbins? You can hold out. You can, you go out. You can get takeout. You ain't did enough in this league, buddy, to stop this train right now. There's a lot of excitement around the team. We love a lot of the moves that have been made. New coordinator. We got, I think, a new playbook that we're going to roll out this year. We got a lot of speed, Doc. We got a lot of speed on the outside. We still got the big fella over the middle. And whoever's behind Lamar, whether it's Gus, whether it's Melvin, or Mr. Cook. And Mr. Cook, hey, buddy, hey, it's your guy. It's your guy, Swami. I know Doc's got something else that he's trying to do here tonight. He wants me to hurry up, so I am. But Mr. Cook, you come on in, buddy. We pay us a visit, Mr. Cook. I don't care what Willie got to say on that one, Doc. This is my doggone team.
Willie,
are you done?
Is Zay Flowers? How good is Zay Flowers?
Man, first of all, disagree with Mr. Cook. Listen, I'm going to say this. You can talk about Dobbins all you want. Look at me. He's a baller. He's a player. Okay? He's one of the top guys, in yards after contact. Dobbins can play. So it will be nice if they could get Mr. Dobbins. But let me tell you something. The guy I want to talk about is Mr. Flowers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They love Mr. Flowers. They're talking about Mr. Antonio Brown. He stops, goes, he comes, he's quick out of the break. This guy is going to be dynamic to this year. Barring injury, your quarterback is going to be on fire. I agree with you. I love Lamar this year. And another guy that's working well with you is Mr. Odell Beckham. They are lighting camp up. Mr. Odell Beckham with Mr. Zay Flowers. And then, of course, you got Mr. Andrews. He's going to open things up. But let me tell you, this is going to be a different look this year. You're not going to be that little wing T offense that we saw against Tennessee that y'all ran. It's not going to be that this year. It's going to be some legitimate passing on first down. And I'm going to tell you another thing they're going to do this year, because I've been watching what the Ravens are doing. I might be a Commanders fan, but I do look like what the Ravens are doing. Another thing is, this is what you're going to look what Lamar is going to do this year. It's going to be different. He's going to be, instead of, he used to be just a middle of the field passer. Guess what he's doing now? And he threw a lightning bolt right to Odell Beckham by the sideline. He's throwing on the boundaries now. That's going to be a new look for the Ravens this year, on the boundaries. Now, the one thing I can say is, offensively, they're going to be dynamite. Defensively, this might be the first time in some years where it goes down a little bit than what they usually are. But I mean, I'm just saying just a little bit. Not the same. I'm saying just a tiny bit. Y'all can't be on top every time defense, but offensively, I think your team is going to be carried by Lamar and your weapons. I love your team offensively. They look outstanding.
So, I mean, last word. You don't agree about the defense just not being good. It's still good, but not great.
And here's why I said, Doc. Look what the defense was able to do with offenses that couldn't sustain drives, that had a number of 3 and outs, that had these very, very, very difficult times on 3rd and long. And now you got an offense that might be able to protect the ball a little bit, might be able to keep the defense off the field for a few more plays a game. And that matters. So this talk about, yes, we lost a piece. I love Peters and some of the other guys that we weren't able to keep. That happens. But we got some good guys that came in. We always draft well. And just like I'm trying to tell you right here, Doc, when you got an offense that's able to make some things happen, it helps your defense out.
It really does. All right, let's talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. Everybody was loving the Bengals until Joe Burrow gets injured. Now, Burrow's been hanging out back at practice. I believe he'll be ready on week 1. But will it? Let's just assume Joe Burrow's healthy for argument's sake. You got Burrow. You got Jamar Chase Roto, who's special. You got T. Higgins, who's uncoverable as a number 2. You got Joe Mixon there. You got a better, the defense has gotten better over the years. Are the Bengals good enough to win this division, or are they the second best team?
Man, it's like, do you like crab cakes or do you like, man, I still think if Joe Burrow is healthy, if he's healthy, because I'm hearing some little different things that he might not be ready for the season. I hope not. If he's healthy, I still like the Bengals by just a slight percentage. It's going to be tight between them and the Ravens. It's going to be real tight, really tight. I mean, Burrows is, man, what can you say about him? He's smooth. The offensive line will be better. Mr. Nixon, he understood. He said, "Oh, I'm going to take a pay cut. I want to be with this good team." Let me tell you something. They're going to ascend this year. And until Burrows was injured, Chase was my number 1 receiver in the whole thing. I was going with Chase, but this Burrow injury, I'm going back to Jefferson now. This because I still don't trust it. Because the way he limped off, I'm still. But offensively, they are stacked, and I think it's going to be between the Ravens and Cincinnati. I'm gonna slightly go with Cincinnati. I got to go with Cincinnati if Burrows is healthy. If not, I like the Ravens. But I do like Cincinnati, and I just think, and defensively, they're going to be doing some different things. So I really, really, really think Cincinnati might try to take a step up this year, further up, because I think they're hungry, and I love the way Joe Burrow is just cool in the pocket, and the line is going to be better. And I like Cincinnati a lot.
Now, they re-signed Logan Wilson, the linebacker. Jesse Bates is gone, Swami. So the defense loses a player, but they keep an important player. This team, the Bengals, have just been hard to stop when they have everybody there. I mean, they have all made one Super Bowl. They could have made, right now, they look legitimately like, can Joe Burrow get to that upper echelon where he is Mahomes, he is Hurts? Is he at that level? Are the Bengals at that level?
That edge that he just gave to the Bengals is outrageous. But I'm going to talk about Mr. Joe Burrow, like you said. I'm appreciative that Willie is zoomed in because I can get a good look at his neck because he talks out of both sides of it, Doc. I can't believe the only reason these jokers won the division last year was because of the whole situation in Buffalo with the game that wasn't played and they were handed the division. I digress. Doc, you said Mr. Burrow. Mr. Burrow is the real deal. We knew that Joe Cool was the real deal coming in. He's come in and proved he was the real deal. There's not many quarterbacks that come in the way that he's come into the league. He's the real deal, just flat out. It's unfortunate that right now he's hampered with an injury. I'm probably a little bit more optimistic than Willie Walls is about his injury, and that's because I think they're gonna hold him out. They're not gonna put him in there if he's not right and risk their season. They'll keep him out if they have to a week or two before they throw him out there and he's not ready. So it should be no concerns there. This team's gonna be ready to go, and they're gonna be right there. I do think it's gonna be close, but there's no way I'm giving the edge to the doggone Bengals. Are you kidding me?
Spoken like
I told you it's like this, man. And what up to?
All right, let's get to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers, guys. Nobody coaches like Mike Tomlin coaches. That guy has his team prepared. Okay. Kenny Pickett was a rookie last year, but he seems to be playing really well in practice. George Pickens is next level talented. Deontay Johnson, we could argue, underperformed last year. Pat Freiermuth, they've got this kid. I'm telling you, watch Calvin Austin, Najee Harris, the defense. Willie, you're bursting at the seams. I think the Steelers are a really good team.
Let me say this. If the Ravens or the Bengals slip up, this team right here is no joke. They will be more competitive this year. I'm telling you, the Pickens, that combination, I love the way that quarterback looks. He's going to make a jump this year. They found that they got a better offensive line. The defense is going to be better this year. Najee Harris, they finally found something towards the end of that year when they start running that ball. And I think Najee Harris is going to be one of those sleepers this year that I think is going to be a steal in the third or fourth round this year. Pittsburgh, I'm telling y'all, they coming. They coming. They got more people. I agree with you wholeheartedly. If the Ravens, or I'm talking about with injuries, I know they are still favorite, but I'm telling you, I think there could be 3 teams from this division that might get in the playoffs this year. I really think so. I mean, and then we're going to talk about Cleveland. Oh my gosh, this division is stacked.
Oh, best division in football. Best division in football. Really,
this division is stacked. So
yeah. I
agree wholeheartedly. I think Pickens. I think they're going to make jumps this year. I love the receivers. I mean, this team is going to be Freiermuth. Man, I love the pieces that they have. Warren as a backup. Love the pieces that Pittsburgh have. I'm telling you, they're coming this year. People don't take them lightly. This is not going to be that chump team last year. I'm thinking this division is going to go back to that black and blue, man. Pittsburgh's going to be something this year.
Now, Swami, I want to talk about something here. Last year, it felt like the offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, wasn't letting Pickens sling it. They were babying him. It's year 2. They bring in this kid from Philadelphia, the Eagles, to be on the offensive line. They draft the kid from Oklahoma. The offensive line, like Willie said, is better. Are they going to let Kenny Pickens be Kenny Pickens? Because if they baby him, they're not winning this division.
I think if he's able to take some steps forward, then the entire team takes a huge step forward. If he's just able to take a couple. They were very competitive last year. People forget. They've been always scrappy with Tom. Let's not get this twisted at all. The defense is going to show up. Haywood, Wyatt, Minka, they're going to be there. Let's just be very clear. How far they go is going to depend on if Mr. Pitt can take a couple of steps forward. And if he can even do, I'm talking about have a few Ben type games. And we all know who Ben is. It's not the Rat. It's Big Ben. If he can have a few games and bring back some of that magic, and because they got the receivers, I even like the addition of Allen Robinson. He's got something to prove. I think he's going to come in and bring a little something into that room. So they got the pieces. He just has to take a few steps forward, make some plays, limit mistakes, and put him on his back. I'm talking about the coaches. None of that. I'm talking. He needs to be going out there and leading the team. And if he does it, they're going to be right there.
All right, Willie alluded to the Cleveland Browns. I would argue that the Browns' defense is as good as any defense right now in the AFC. Myles Garrett brings it. I can't even get his name right. Jeremiah Wansu, the dude from Notre Dame, is a beast and a half. Grant Delpit out there in the secondary. Look, is Deshaun Watson the player that we saw from 3 years ago? Or is he the guy we saw last year who couldn't complete a pass above a calf? That's how low those passes were. He was so off. It was awful. Can they figure it out with Elijah Moore, Willie? Can they figure it out with Amari Cooper? Can they figure it out with all these players? Because I'm telling you, there were times last year where the Browns were just poo. That was
Let me say this. let me say this. Deshaun Watson is going to be a lot better this year. Anytime you miss a year and you come in the middle, and after all that little nasty rascal what he went through, all the massages, he probably was thinking about massages last year when he came in. So that maybe that's what happened to him. I don't know. I think he had to get focused, and he got to get all the massages out. So now he got all that nastiness behind him. Now I think he's going to take a step forward. Listen, and I've never been a big Nick Chubb fan, but I love him this year.
Love him.
I think
love him.
I love Nick Chubb this year. And one thing, like we know, man, and they scrappy too. And now you're getting that monster some help on defense, man. I mean, Cleveland, and I hate to say this because we have a friend named Jarita who's a Cleveland fan, and they're playing my Commanders this year. They're probably kicking us in the tail. But yeah, listen, they're going to be good this time. I'm telling you, this division right here, if somebody suffered injuries, I wouldn't be surprised if any of these guys come out and win a division. If Baltimore and Cincinnati suffer injuries. Because this Cleveland team, I'm telling you, Deshaun Watson is going to be the Deshaun Watson that we saw a couple years ago. That's what he's going to be this year. And I think Elijah Moore have a lot to prove. A lot to prove. And I think he has a lot of game in him. And I think Deshaun is going to make him better. And I think they're going to be better because I think Elijah Moore is going to make him better. And I love Nick Chubb this year. And defensively, I agree with you, Doc. They're going to be better. Those additions, man, I tell you what, this division right here, I agree with you. Best in football. Best in football, period, from top to bottom.
Swami, I could argue if I was playing in a standard fantasy league, I think Nick Chubb may be a top 5 player. Right? Not PPR, but in a standard league, he could be a top 5 player. I think Elijah Moore in a PPR could be sensational, catch 80 passes this year. Are you in on both these guys?
Doc, not just no, but hell no. And let me tell you why. Because just like you said, that guy couldn't put a pet. I am very concerned. I don't want to know about what you did 2-3 years ago, Doc. It's what have you done for me lately? This joker has to put something out there on the field before I could start to think that they're going to make something happen. He had a few games last year. He was supposed to knock off some of the rust. He was supposed to give Browns fans some hope. Jarita, Sharita, Marita, Margarita. Every Rita in Cleveland is looking for him to do something, and he going to have to show me. I'm not just going to just take this, Deshaun Watson, and Walls and all. It's the deep state, deep tissue, whatever you call the Walls. He needs to put something on the doggone field before I am going to talk about taking anybody on that offense, top anything, Doc. It's just too many concerns. You saying,
listen, and Camp, he's getting back to being Deshaun Watson. I mean, all the reports are good on Deshaun Watson. I'm just telling you, Swami.
That's not pressure. He's not saying
no, it's not pressure. But what I'm saying is, you got to remember, if anybody misses a year, you're going to struggle. Anybody, it's going to happen.
Well, this division, these quarterbacks, these defenses.
I get it. I'm just saying they're going to be better this year.
There's no give me games in the AFC North.
They got a better roster this year. I agree, but I'm just telling you they got a better roster this year. We're going to see.
They do have a better roster.
From top to bottom, top to bottom, this is the best division in football.
Best.
Agreed.
All right, let's take a look at another North, the NFC North, okay? Let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. I want to talk about two things. One, is Justin Jefferson as good this year do you expect him to be as good this year as he was last year, Willie? Is this a guy, because he was automatic in fantasy leagues, he was automatic in DFS, is he automatic again for you when you're setting your lineups?
Justin Jefferson is the best. Him and Chase are the best receivers in football. Now, let me say this. With the addition of this Addison dude, this dude could play. So it might be. So instead of, Justin had 1,800 yards last year. So he might have, let's shave off 1,740, okay, or something like that. That's still a hell of a year, Still a hell of a year. But see, but this is the thing. This is what I want to say that I want people to pay attention to this year. Last year, the Vikings did it with mirrors. Man, they were 13-4, 11-0 in one-score games. And I'm telling you, they in the first three quarters, they were the only team that were trailing by 7. They were trailing by 70 points going to the fourth quarter in all their games combined, and they won those games. Regression is going to happen. You cannot keep playing like that. And you're not going to keep playing like that. So I'm just saying, offensively though, yeah, Jefferson still the best receiver in the game. Period. I think that rookie receiver is going to make them better. But we got to see what's going to happen with Madison. Madison is going to be the key. He only averaged 3.8 yards a carry last year. Defensively, their run defense is pretty decent, but their secondary is a little shaky. I just think Minnesota is going to go regression this year. They no way in hell they're going to be 13-4 this year. They're going to be coming down, and they're okay with me. But I'm just saying. But Jefferson, yes, I agree with Swami. He's a monster. He's a monster. And Hawkinson is also another great addition. But Cousins has got to play better this year. He's got to play better this year to carry them if they want to do something.
Willie mentioned Alexander Madison. No Dalvin Cook anymore. Are they going to miss Dalvin Cook so terribly that they are going to miss the playoffs?
I don't know if they'll miss the playoffs because the NFC isn't very impressive. But I still think that they're going to miss Cook. And unfortunately, unlike it seemed like all the owners and GMs in the NFL, I am much higher on the running back position than they are. And I think Cook was one of those guys who you talk about. Anybody we've been talking about, say, for multiple years, being a first round, high second round, like season-long running back, is not somebody you can just throw away. It's not somebody you can just say, oh, we can get over on this guy. He still was hitting big plays in the offense. If y'all remember last year, big plays in the passing game, big plays out the backfield. I'm talking about he was a home run hitter. He seemed a little fragile at times, but when he was in there, he was a pretty good football player. And right now, Madison hasn't had to carry the load. He come in and spell and have a great price in DFS, but he hasn't really put together a full season where we can say, oh, Madison is going to pick that right up. And they're not going to see, any letdowns in the running game. So right now, I can only say that the passing game looks great because they can't run the ball. They'll be throwing a lot. We'll be playing them a lot in both season long at DFS. But playoffs is very much in question.
All right, let's talk about a team that I think people think are on the rise, the Detroit Lions. They bring in this Jahmyr Gibbs, who looks really good from Alabama. They bring in David Montgomery from the Bears because Jamal Williams goes off to New Orleans. They've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, who looks fantastic. They draft this kid, Sam Laporta, tight end, who looks good. Willie, it just feels like Dan Campbell's guys they get after it. They've been getting better and better and better. Is this the year the Lions jump into the circus known as the playoffs?
Yes. Yes, and yes. All you have to do is look at those last 8 games that they played. They were outstanding. One of the key things that people need to understand is they cut down that turnover rate. They shortened the passes with their golf made. Their defense went from allowing 32 points a game to 20 points a game. They shortened things up. I'm telling you, this Montgomery everybody talking about Gibbs. You know what? But I heard from a training camp, they're trying to give him like 10 touches. But just like Jamal, just like when you saw that back last year for Detroit, listen, Montgomery could play. He was behind a bad offensive line. But he does short yardage well. When they get to the red zone, they run that ball 58% of the time. I'm guaranteeing you, and I'm telling you this right now. People, listen to me. Look at me. Look at me. Don't go with that Gibbs in the 4th round. You go down a little bit, wait a little bit longer, and you get Mr. Montgomery. I guarantee you, Mr. Montgomery this year will get at least 12 to 13 touchdowns, guaranteed with this offense. I'm gonna say Brown, he's going to have a huge year too. He will have a huge year, and this is the reason why. You got to remember, this guy's only had 12 targets in 2 years in the end zone. It's got to get better. Without Hawkinson, they're going to be doing special plays for him around the end zone. So listen, the dude was already a monster. Now, if you include the touchdown regression that he's going to have a huge year. And then you got, and I just like the makeup of the team. They're hard-nosed. They're going to punch you in the mouth. Their defense is better. And I'm telling you, this is not your same old Detroit Lions from 1995 with Barry Sanders and nobody else. This team is going to ball, and I think this will be the class of the division. Congratulations to the Detroit Lions. You will win the division this year.
Now, Swami, Willie said something interesting. I want to piggyback on that. Jahmyr Gibbs barely touched the ball at Alabama. Do you know why? He didn't have to touch the ball more than 9 or 10 times a game. He'd go 9 for 80, and then he'd catch one pass for 42 yards and a touchdown. He barely needed to touch it. Will they use Gibbs in that swift role where it's 10 to 12 touches? Is Willie right where Montgomery is going to just get, 12, 13 touchdowns? And is Willie right that the Lions are the best team in this division?
Doc, how can I say it? First, we got to get labels that we can put up on the screen so the fans can see what side of Willie's neck is talking. Outrageous is the words that come to mind. He said, what? Cannot believe what I heard. First of all, let's just talk about this team. Who was their 3 best weapons? Let's just say 4 best weapons on their offense last year outside of the quarterback position. It was Mr. Hockenson. He's gone. It was Mr. Swift. He's gone. And it was the other running back, Mr. Williams, who put up all the doggone touchdowns. He's gone. And the only person left is my man, Amon-Ra, and he's hanging out there trying to do his best to hold this thing up. I don't think teams can do that, Doc, and be successful. It takes time. You just can't just say, hey, here's all of our guys that played well. We're going to get rid of them and be better next year. And Willie knows better. He know you need reps.
I'm telling you, you are not watching. I'm just telling this team is loaded. I'm telling you. They are
so
loaded.
When did they get loaded?
And you're going to feel the I tell you what, let me know if you want to get $100 that Detroit will not win a division. Who's going to win it then? You give me your team, I give you my team, and we do $100 right now. Who's going to win it? Tell me who's going to win it.
I don't think this division is good enough for my $100 bet.
No, who's going to win the division?
It's not good enough for my $100 bet. So I'm going to continue on. No, I'm going to say it. Allow me to continue.
Who's going to win it?
I think that this division is up for grabs. It's just the truth. I think the Vikings are still probably the team that you have.
Sir. Side of the net. Tell me who's going to win it. If Detroit's not winning, who's winning the division?
Okay, listen, let me finish. I think the Vikings are still the team that I think has the edge. I think until Detroit can show us something, you still got to edge it to the Vikings. I think the Bears had some explosive plays from the quarterback position, but other than that, they haven't really improved. They are, as Doc would say, poo-poo. And we don't know what Green Bay is going to do with their new offense new quarterback, new situation. So it's very much up in the air. Any one of these teams could emerge and win this division. I think it's still the Vikings right now because I cannot give anything to this new look Detroit offense.
Do you want $100 on it right now, sir?
I didn't answer that already.
Exactly. You did not answer that.
None of your snake oil salesman bets this year.
Oh, what did you say? I didn't hear you.
I said no, you snake oil salesman.
Oh.
No. You used car salesman.
All right, this Swami ducking Willie's bet wouldn't part with the Hunsky. All right, let's talk about the Chicago Bears with this explosive whatever. I know there was something explosive there, and it was not the offense. But let's talk about one thing, Willie. We played on this show. We were all about. Where's Swami? Where'd he go? We'll get him back. He's just going in the darkness there. You distracted me, Swami. Justin Fields. We played him all the time in DFS. Are you still playing him this year, Willie? Because that team, they added DJ Moore, but Claypool's a wreck. Mooney's now supposedly healthy. Cole Kmet is there. There's no Montgomery. There's a bunch of running backs. We don't even know who's going to play. Are you sold on Justin Fields?
I still think that Justin Fields is going to improve this year. He's going to get better. They got better weapons around him, and their offensive line is going to be a little better. They're going to be better in the offensive line. But let me say this, and this is why I say that it's going to be that. The Bears averaged 15 points a game last year in weeks 7 through 10. And this is the kind of jump that I want to see Justin Fields make. One thing he's got to do this year that he's got to do is he's got to go on his second progressions this year. He cannot. What he did a lot last year was if the first one wasn't open, he ran and he bailed and he ran. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to keep making hay like that because you're going to get hurt. If you continue to run like that, you can't continue to do that, even though he was one of their best running backs that they had. Now, from week 7 to 10, they averaged 31.1 points a game. And they scored 33 against the Patriots. Remember they upset the Patriots in that Monday night game they were showing that? They scored 29 against Cowboys, 32, and then they scored 30 against the Lions. And then they regressed when Justin Fields got hurt. Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what the hell the Bears are doing. I mean, offensively, they tried to add more stuff, but they still had $30 million left on the cap that they didn't tap in. They got 2 linebackers that don't make sense, on the same thing defensively. So I think DFS wise, hell yeah, I'm like, because you know why? The defense sucks. Okay, the defense sucks, and he's gonna get a lot of times to try to get that ball back. So he's gonna be getting a lot of garbage points. So hell yeah, I like Mr. Fields this year. Hell yeah, I'm gonna play him. I'm gonna be playing him in DFS, and I might have him in a couple of leagues, but he is definitely going to score. And hopefully the thing he has to do is he has to make that jump, that progression. He has to be a better passer this year. He has to be. That's what he has to work on.
Well, Swami, they brought in DJ Moore. I mean, you can't get a better route runner than DJ Moore. DJ Moore was so frustrated last year when Matt Rule said that they couldn't get open. He basically laughed because DJ Moore is open on every play. Is that enough? Is that enough to make this offense gel for Justin Fields? Because let me tell you something. I had a guy on who was a Bears beat reporter. I said, how is Justin Fields looking? And he said, they're hoping that he's going to get better by 2024. What does that mean for 2023, Swami?
It means just like I was telling Willie, you just can't bring a bunch of pieces together and without seeing them come together on the field, make these wild predictions, these wags. We're going to call them these Willie wags. That's a W squared because it's Willie and Wag. And I'm going to make sure I have that T-shirt ready to go the next time. And here's why I say it, Doc, because he didn't have many weapons last year. Let's just be honest. Willie's talking about why he had to run. He had to run. One, he was running for his life half the time. It wasn't like they were called running plays. The guy was scrambling. He was out there running for his doggone life. It was a jailbreak every other play. Only person
listen, I get it, but he still got to work on his progressions. There was some open stuff that he didn't see. That's what I'm talking about.
During my go, I get that you get it, but get it on your go. Willie, you greedy walls. My goodness. So, Doc, like I was saying.
Hurry up.
Last year, he didn't have receivers that he got this year. Vallis Jones got another year in the offense. You got Claypool with another year. You got DJ Moore coming.
Vallis Jones and Chase Claypool play on any team in the NFL.
But he has to have somebody out there, Doc. I can't play GM. I can only tell you what's out there. Can the guys play for him? You ask you, they got Robert Tonyan now. I don't know who they have at least somebody who can go out there and make a play. And so he's going to need help is my point. He can't do it by himself. And last year he was a one-man band. Every now and then Montgomery would give him a little bit of help. But for the most part, we was hoping Kmet was so you couldn't even he was somebody you ran naked. I'm talking about Prince in the Revolution. He was out there with his ass out. He didn't have nobody to help him week to week. So in a situation like that, I'm just saying maybe he's got a few pieces. Maybe it's something that could, get going this year as far as him developing something with those guys. They got a little bit of talent, Doc. It's not what it was last year. Last year the cover was bare. So he's trying to make something happen. And that's why I said this thing's wide open because a lot of these teams still have a little bit to prove with the quarterback situation going across the board. And that's why you got to get a nod right now to Cousins.
All right, let's talk about the last team in the division before we go, the Green Bay Packers. I believe their season is on one player, Jordan Love, right? If this guy is who they were hoping he might be when they drafted him, maybe it could be okay because the receivers, you got Christian Watson, you got Romeo Doubs, you bring in Jaden Reed, you still have Aaron Jones, you have A.J. Dillon, you have a good defense, Jair Alexander, arguably the best cornerback in football. There are pieces here. And I would say, guys, if you had a real quarterback, if you put Jalen Hurts on this team or you had Joe Burrow on this team is a playoff team. But Willie, with Jordan Love there, do you love Jordan Love?
This is what they got to do this year. Listen, I've heard, from the beat reporters that he's got to trust himself. He's got to trust himself. He's throwing everything late because he doesn't trust it. In camp, that's what's going on right now. I mean, honestly, they're going to have to lean on the backs. They got to lean on the backs. They got to leave on, Dillon and Aaron Jones. They got to lean on the backs. Justin Watson is an athlete. He can play.
Christian Watson.
He can play. We know he can play. But Jordan Love, man, but let me give you some good stuff. Okay, at least let me talk about Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones. All right, let me say that. 5.3 yards per carry. Caught 57 balls. Caught 5 touchdowns. Had 2 touchdowns running. He's in the top. He's in the top 13 in yards after contact. He's one of the most elusive ones, number 7 in the league in elusiveness. And then Dillon, he plays better when it gets cold because we know he's a slow rascal in the summertime. But when it gets cold, that's when you can start counting on Dillon. Man, they're gonna have to go to those backs a lot, man. I'm just telling you, their defense is good. Their schedule is easy. So, but Jordan Love, do we trust him, Doc? I'm just gonna say. I don't want.
Just say it. Say it.
No love for Love. That's all I gotta say. I got nothing for you. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a bigger loss than what people think. Because he made things happen. With things. Man, go ahead, Swami. You can have it. I'm done.
You sure are. Because you didn't give this offense or Mr. Love no love, just like you said. And let me tell you something, Doc. Let's put Mr. Jair and guys like that aside for a second, because the defense actually played pretty well, if you guys remember. So they have a group over there that has something to say. But I'm going to set them to the side for a second, because we're just going to deal with the offense. While Walls was talking, it was something that he was saying that I couldn't disagree with anything, but it was as the longer he talked about, more he talked about it. I said, Aaron Rodgers without Adams wasn't that hot. And it's not like he was really, he wasn't he wasn't scaring people. He wasn't keeping people up at night without Mr. Adams. Is that fair to say here, Doc? He was. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but Devontae Adams, a Hall of Famer. Aaron Rodgers was throwing in Randall Cobb, who is like going to retirement home in Boca next week.
So it's not like the offense was tearing it up last year, and so
they slowed it down.
I think so, but I think Love, if he came into that same offense that they had last year, like Wall said, I think they're going to lean on the short passing game. I think they're going to lean on the running game, but they're going to have to get some big plays if they're going to want to win any ball games. And if he's not going up top to Dobbs, if he's not going up top to Watson, the game's over. I mean, let's just cut right to it. The game is over no matter. And if he's turning the ball over, now it's not right. Now there's nothing they can do. So I'm gonna say that if he can create some big plays, and I'm not talking about every third or fourth game, like every game he's going to have a couple of big plays. I'm talking about those type of plays that really make people go, wait a minute, we got to back up. So things open up for him. If he can't do that and these defense can just pin their ears back, Doc, it's going to be a long season for this joker. He going to change his name to Hate.
All right. AFC North. Let's get back there real quick. Winning the division. Willie, who's winning?
That trade
Bengals.
already TV edged it to you.
Bengals.
I say Ravens. Swami?
Ravens all the way.
Second place, I say Bengals.
Ravens.
Okay. Third place, Steelers or Browns? I say Steelers.
Coin flip.
Yeah, Steelers. Wow, that's close.
Coin flip.
Okay. NFC North. I'm going to take the Lions to win the division.
Lions.
Tigers and Bears. Oh my. I'm going with the Vikings.
All right. So you're taking Lions second, Swami?
I'm going to take the Lions second. Yeah.
I'll take the Vikings second, Willie.
I'll take the Vikings second.
All right. Now between the Bears and Packers, I'll take the Packers third, only based on the defense.
I'm gonna do the same thing because I think they got a little better talent, better defense. I'll give it to them.
Gotta go Green Bay.
And there you go. Chicago coming in last again and not looking good at all. All right, guys, we killed it. We did a great job. We got it done. I'm proud of us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Let's do the South. Let's do the AFC and NFC South. Let's get it done.
Now,
all right.
Play the game. They play.
All right. Enjoy preseason. This is Dr. Roto for Willie and Swami saying be well and
take
care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.